The pier, the promenade, the fish and chips and the gaudy amusement park. The classic combo of entertainment that defined British seaside holidays in the 20th century is no longer enough to attract tourists in their droves to resorts like Hastings. Since the 1960s and 70s, more and more British travellers seized upon affordable holidays overseas, causing a severe downturn in domestic tourism in a number of British seaside resorts. Left with an ageing population, a decaying infrastructure and notoriously bad press, Hastings and other seaside towns faced a strategic challenge to reinvent themselves for the 21st century. Now decades into the process, Hastings demonstrates the comeback. A few flagship projects, a new wave of small businesses and the packed festival calendar have turned old liabilities into engines of growth. But as the hype of Hastings swells, can the town keep a smart balance between growth and identity? Hastings' new outdoor music festival, the Zoaquarium, features young bands from Sussex and beyond. Hundreds of bands are auditioned for an entire year for the programme that rocks the town's newest event space every summer. Hastings Pier has been both a symbol and a driver of the town's transformation. It stood abandoned for years in the early noughties until the council and the community clawed it back from its private owner. After it burned down in 2010, the community and the future architects raised money and secured lottery funding for the £14 million reconstruction. Since its reopening in 2016, the new pier has hosted hundreds of events and received numerous awards. It has inspired not just artists and pundits. Its rebirth infused Hastings with a new sense of optimism. A few hundred yards down the coast, the new Jarwood Gallery looms over Europe's largest beach-launched fishing fleet. Funded by the Jarwood Foundation and soon by Arts Council England, the gallery exhibits both foreign art and work that is either created here or has a strong connection with the heritage of the seaside. The gallery now draws art lovers from the whole country and beyond. The new wave of investment has brought a welcome stir to Hastings' seafront without erasing its traditions. In the past 15 years, the number of day visitors has grown by 17%, and the number of people working full-time in tourism is also up by a fifth over the same period. But the change in Hastings didn't start or end with the pier and the new gallery. After unsuccessful attempts to attract big companies to the area, Hastings forged a tight partnership with small, creative businesses, and they turned out to make all the difference. The Source Park is a prime example of business-led regeneration. Source, a homegrown BMX and skateboarding brand owned by the Moore brothers, saved a 130-year-old derelict Victorian bath complex by turning it into one of the biggest subterranean skate parks in the world.
The founders of the business, Mark and Rich, have been thinking about a skate park for some time and always had the idea to do it in this building. It's centrally located on main bus routes, less than half a mile to the nearest train station, which puts a really good skate park centrally in a central town, which already has a really good brand when it comes to BMX. We work really closely with the local council and local authorities. We attract thousands of people into the town every year, especially with our events of attracting thousands just literally over a weekend.
About half a mile west from the Source, in St Leonard's iconic Marine Court building, two entrepreneurs run one of the most successful restaurants in East Sussex. They perfected their burger recipes at music festivals for years before opening their first restaurant in Hastings St Leonard's. Back then, opening an upmarket burger bar here in Fish and Chips Mecca was a leap of faith. Today, they employ over a dozen people.
Opening in St Leonard's was a very dicey thing to do. I can't think of one friend or one member of the family that positively encouraged us 100% all the way with that. It was pretty bad, but we could see potential, we could see it was on the turn, and thankfully it is. It's a lovely place to be. We thought when we opened that we'd be a bit of a hipster burger joint, primarily with 20 and 30-year-olds. What we found is the actual opposite of that. On any given day, we'll have 6-year-olds celebrating their birthdays, and we'll have 60, 70, 80-year-olds also celebrating their birthday as well. A burger has universal appeal, and we really, really enjoy that, you know.
A short walk on Hastings' seafront and the fast gentrifying America ground gives a flavour of the town's changing fortunes. A new fast train line has made Hastings easier to reach for Londoners who have benefited from more affordable property here. But there is fear that the growing interest is turning these parts of Hastings into an island of bought-to-let second homes and price out local residents and businesses.
Lots and lots of people come from London, particularly from East London, who kind of stare at the prices amazed because it is still very affordable compared to Hackney, say.
Jericho Road, a local social enterprise, is working to channel that interest and money into projects that support that growth whilst preserving affordability for all.
We have a community land trust here that individuals can invest in. So by downsizing their mortgage payments, they maybe free up some capital, maybe they could invest it in that, and that means they can feel good about investing in the community in Hastings to create affordable properties, both residential and commercial, long-term for local people to protect that affordability.
Jericho Road's concept of community-focused property development debuted in Rock House, a 1969 office block in the heart of America ground. They refurbished the interior completely and now let it to dozens of local artists and entrepreneurs at capped rates.
We run a record label called BBE, which is 21 years old this year. Originally, we did have the business in London, but that was in its formative years. We came to Hastings to live and just loved it so much, and we were very happy to move the business down to Hastings as well. We have a capped rent on, so that helps with the affordability, but also we manage the service contracts, so the cleaning or fire alarms, anything like that. Instead of putting that in the hands of a company, which would charge us for taking care of things, we have a committee and we organise it between ourselves, which helps keep the costs down as well, and we have control over the budgets that way.
Hastings is not the only seaside town where entrepreneurs have turned a difficult legacy into sustainable growth.
You have Padstow, best known for its seafood. You have Margate and Hastings, known for the art galleries that have been created there. You have Bournemouth, known for its thriving technology scene. So what we see is that seaside towns, when they specialise, when they create a cluster, entrepreneurs will form around that, create jobs, create growth, and bring the economy back from decline into economic growth.
Big companies are not going to move to the seaside. What we need to do is make sure that the seaside is the best place in anywhere to set up a small business. It'll be those kind of businesses that provide the employment that we need in the future. It will not be the headquarters of big companies.
I'd say there are advantages to working in a deprived area. There are grants and loans available from local government and local councils that are just simply unavailable in prosperous towns. So go search for those grants and go search for those loans, because they're definitely out there, and we couldn't have been where we are without those also.
My recommendation for opening up a business at a seaside town would be just to make sure you do your research first. Make sure you've got a target audience, and make sure you've got a certain amount of customers that you can sell your product to. Once you're really sure of that, find a rad location. It's got to be a best location, a different location. The good thing about seaside towns is they have an abundance of unusual, old school, different style buildings that could host numerous businesses.
Adam Farkash, business reporter, Hastings.